Greetings and welcome to another segment of Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. My name is Peter Updike, and today we're going to talk about muzzleloader season. We're going to talk about muzzleloader hunting, specifically on public land here in the state of Florida. Muzzleloader season is already open in South Florida, I believe, and some on public land, on private land, and it's going to be opening here on public land this weekend. So I thought I would do a crunch video showing you my setup for deer hunting on public land in Florida with my muzzleloader. So I'll show you my muzzleloader, my setup, and everything that you need to go hunting this weekend for a muzzleloader hunt for white-tailed deer and hogs in the management area nearest you. Now you'll need to check the regulations. Some management areas require a quota permit. Check the regulations. If it doesn't mention quota permit, well then you don't need one. You'll always need your hunting license. You'll always need your management area stamp, and you'll always need your muzzleloader permit, which is all under the umbrella of a sportsman's license. If you have a sportsman's license, well then you're already set. But anyway, I'm going to show you my muzzleloader. I'm real excited about muzzleloader hunting, especially after archery hunting. I've been archery hunting 6 times. And I have not had a buck inside bow range. That's the way it goes. So I'm excited about going muzzleloader hunting. Here's my muzzleloader. It is a Ruger M77. It's a model 77, and the M stands for muzzle loading. And if you're not familiar with a muzzleloader, all right, I'm gonna show you. A lot of you guys are gonna yawn and say, "Oh, this is pretty boring," but obviously a muzzleloading gun loads in the muzzle. This is an inline muzzle loader, meaning the primer, the charge, and the bullet are all in line with itself. This is a very modern day muzzle loader. It's not like you might think with the hammer on the side of the receiver where the charge has to make a turn and burn into the powder to set it off. This particular gun is a inline muzzleloader, and they come in many different fashions. Now some of them have a hammer, but it's still an inline, and some are not. I would recommend, if you're going to purchase a muzzleloader to go muzzleloader hunting, make sure it's an inline muzzleloader. Okay. Again, I'll share this one with you. I've got a Redfield scope on mine. Scopes are legal in the state of Florida. They're not legal in all states. It also has iron sights if I chose to do that. I appreciate the ability to use the scope, okay? And yeah, it makes things better, especially as you get a little older and your eyes aren't quite what they used to be. You need to be able to see what you're shooting with antler restrictions being 3 points or better. If you can't see that extra point, it only needs to be 1 inch tall. So a scope, I would invest in a scope and have it mounted on the muzzleloader, as you see here. Again, this is a Ruger M77, and yeah, this is a great muzzleloader. I really like it and look forward to using it. Now, what you will need in the form of hardware when you buy a muzzleloader, it is an animal unto itself. It's nothing like a regular rifle other than the fact that it shoots a bullet. All right, you will need a tackle box. Okay, this is what comes with the idea of using a muzzleloader, because there's so many different components. Now one thing about a muzzleloader is the powder. You have to use black powder. If you go buy a muzzleloader and the salesman doesn't know what he's doing and he sells you what maybe he thinks you need, you might make a big mistake and buy smokeless powder. If you buy smokeless powder by accident and you put it in a muzzleloading gun, well, that might be the last gun you ever shoot. It's extremely dangerous. Make sure that you get modern day black powder granules. It comes in a container like this. I'll show you here in a minute how I load up, but it'll come with a little funnel. You just screw that funnel on there to dispense the granules into a measuring device because you'll need to find out just how much powder to use. This takes a little effort, how much powder to use with each charge, okay? You have to measure it. So you'll have to buy a measuring stick or a measuring vial. What you'll do is you'll open it up like so, and see, I have got the measurement already calculated on here. It's got little numbers on here somewhere. There they are, little numbers. And then you will pour your granules into it till it's full. Then you'll close it up, and then you dump it in the end of the muzzle, and all the granules now fall inside the barrel. Then you put the projectile on, we'll talk about those in a minute, and shove it down to the bottom of the chamber, okay? So the bullets that you use are projectile. On wildlife management areas, I'm not sure what the law is on private land, but on wildlife management areas, if you're going to be hunting with a muzzleloader, you cannot use a projectile smaller than 30 caliber. This is a 50 caliber, 223 grain projectile. This is not a sabot. A sabot, I've got sabots here somewhere. A sabot is an option for your projectile. This is a sabot. You'll see it's got a plastic cone that the projectile sits in. It's supposed to improve accuracy. I gotta tell you, I've never seen the difference. But this is a sabot. The bullet in a sabot is a 45 caliber. These are power belts. They've got a little cone in the bottom that plugs into the bullet, which helps house all of the powder underneath the bullet, making it more efficient. This is a different size now. I have experimented through the years with different projectiles, different amounts of powder. You also have an option with your powder to use pellets, that you don't have to use powder, that you can just use pellets like this and just drop them down the barrel, okay? My gun shoots 2 of these pellets per charge, and it does real well. Or the powder, whichever you choose. You will need to experiment and find out what works and then stick with it. Avoid changing up. Once you find the size of the projectile and the amount of powder that shoots best out of your firearm, that's what you'll stick with. And you kind of end up with a little bit of surplus stuff, right? But that's okay. One day you might want to go out and do a little shooting, and you can use it and experiment further, right? Some people use 3 of these per charge. I only use 2. The thing about black powder is what doesn't burn up inside the chamber is blown out the end of the barrel, and that's what makes all that white smoke, okay? Again, I can't emphasize enough, when you buy your powder, to make sure you get real black powder. Do not buy smokeless powder. Smokeless powder is what you would use to reload ammunition, okay? And if you put that down into the barrel, it's modern day smokeless powder, yeah, it could end badly. So make sure that you make note and you buy black powder. All right, so moving forward, when you shoot your muzzleloader for the first time and you get it figured out, you'll need to make sure that you also purchase solvent to clean your black powder firearm. You're going to want to clean it the very day that you shoot it. Don't shoot your black powder firearm or pistol and then put it up and forget about it. If you do, it will be ruined, okay? And black powder is very, very corrosive, and it sticks to and rusts and corrodes all of the metal that it adheres to, and it'll ruin your gun, Okay, so we've covered the powder. You will also need primers. Now, different muzzle loaders require different primers. I use a traditional cap primer, and the cap primer goes on the end of the nipple on the bolt portion of my firearm, and there's one per shot. And again, they're just little caps, right? They go on the end of the nipple, and I never charge my muzzleloader with a cap until I'm in my stand ready to hunt. Okay, I will load the powder and the projectile into my muzzleloader while I'm at home, and then when I get in my stand, I put on the cap, and then I remove the cap when I get back in the truck. Loading and unloading a muzzleloader can be a bit of a chore. Everyone loads and unloads differently. Removing the cap keeps the gun safe. Of course, it has a safety, but I just do not travel or walk with a firearm that's hot. Okay, and once you put the cap on it, even though the safety is off, the gun is hot. Okay, and it's just like any other firearm. If it goes off, if it accidentally discharges, it'll be ugly. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This by no means is a toy. It's, yeah, I know it's black powder and there's a lot to it, but it is every bit as dangerous as a real firearm. Okay, yeah, it's a real firearm, but you'll need you also need tools to clean. You will need patches. You will need a screwdriver. Again, you need to figure out what requirements that your particular muzzleloader has. Usually they come apart so you can clean the components right individually. And of course you'll need patches, and to run it up and down through the bore and clean the bore out, take the gun apart, whatever, you know, portions of it can come apart, and clean it. So all right, so I think that pretty much covers all of the mechanics and the ins and outs of muzzleloading. Yeah, I'm pretty much sighted in for 50 yards. I don't know what my muzzleloader will do out to 100 yards. In other words, it's zeroed in at 50. So at 100, I really don't know what kind of drop to expect. I just don't have the facilities. I haven't done that. So yeah, I hunt pretty much in tight cover. Anyway, I'm not going to be making any 150, 200 yard shots. My muzzleloader is going to be just a little bit further than my archery range. Okay, 35, 40, 50 yards. So yeah, I'm sighted in at 50, dead on at 50, and I'm going to go with that. If I get one at 65, maybe I'll elevate it up about 4 inches, because the drop on a muzzleloader is extreme. Okay. All right, what else? Oh yeah, speed loaders. This is what I carry with me in my pocket when I go on a hunt. Again, as I mentioned, I load the rifle up at home the night before the hunt. And many times what I'll do, I don't have any with me, I've got some tape. And if I feel like there might be a lot of moisture, I will tape up masking tape. I tape and put masking tape over the action that exposes the vital area from moisture. I'll put a little masking tape over this to protect it from unwanted moisture getting in there, intruding, and I keep that in my truck, right? So when I load the muzzleloader with the cap, I put blue tape, painter's blue tape, right on this portion to keep it as dry as possible. If in fact there's moisture in the air, maybe it's drizzling rain, you want to go out and get in your stand, you've got to keep this dry or it will not fire when crunch time comes. Okay. And let's see, again, the speed loaders. I've got 3 of them. If I'm in my tree stand and I shoot my muzzle loader and I miss and the deer's standing there, I've got another shot. Inside is my powder on one end, and on the other end is the projectile, right? So this end right here, I just open it up, hold it over the, drop the powder down into the muzzle, and then fish the projectile out of the, put it in, and here are my caps on there, and I've got 3 of them. You'll want to invest in these in order to be ready for another opportunity. You might shoot at that deer and miss it, and it's just standing there. You might want to take another shot. You'll be able to if you have those. All right, so that pretty much sums up my process. I don't think there's anything I forgot. You're going to need some tools. You need some tools here and there. Screwdriver, whatever your muzzleloader requires. My muzzleloader requires, let's see, this tool goes in through the back of the breech, goes through the back of the receiver to the breech to unscrew it. So I've got to have this, and I've got to have this. Every muzzleloader is different, and yeah, I've got to have these. If I don't have these, and again, cleaning rod, solvent, patches. I hope you get out there and you go muzzleloader hunting. I'm hoping to kill me a deer during the muzzleloader season. We'll see. I couldn't muzzleloader hunt last year. My mother was out of end-of-life experience, so last muzzleloader season was a wash. But that's okay. I miss my mama. She's almost been gone a year, and yeah, I'm gonna celebrate her life and her contribution to my life with a muzzleloader hunt. So yeah, I'm missing my mama, but it's almost been a year, marking it at muzzleloader season. All right, we love you guys. Talk to you soon. Good luck and be safe. Yeah, let's go muzzleloader hunting. See ya. Bye. Oh, and one more thing I almost forgot. You'll need to wear 500 cubic inches of blaze orange when hunting on public land in the state of Florida with a muzzleloader. Don't forget, you blaze orange. Love you guys. See ya. Bye.